What's going on YouTube? Back here with another video with the 77-inch LG G4, and today's video is just going to be kind of an update video. It's been quite a while since I've talked about an issue that I've been having with my LG G4, and I thought it's been enough time that I'm going to go ahead and do an update. So the issue I was having with my G4 was when I had my game console plugged into HDMI 3 at the time, the display or the console was forcing down the resolution. So for example, let me pull up the game dashboard here real quick. As you can see, the resolution showing 4K, 60 frames per second, HDR, okay, all that looks fine. The issue here is that on its own, the display would force itself down to 1440 or 1080. And I have some videos here on the channel if you want to check them out to see them in real time what I'm talking about. But what made that so annoying is that I could never accurately forecast when it was going to happen. So what that would cause me to do is I would have to go in and just manually check, okay, am I getting 4K resolution at whatever frames on this particular game? So for example, when I would load into, say, Call of Duty, as that was almost picked off. As I would load into Call of Duty, sometimes the resolution would drop to the point where I'm like, yeah, that's definitely not 4K, or that's definitely a lower resolution that I'm expecting here. Let me go in and check. And sure enough, the display will be showing like 1440p or 1080. And this has probably been, I don't know how long ago that was. It's been quite a while now, but I've been gaming now for quite a while since those videos. I have to tell you that the problem for me has been narrowed down to the HDMI port. And that's unfortunate because that's actually pretty much like the worst case scenario for what I was hoping for. I was hoping it was the source, the game. I was hoping maybe even it was the console. I was hoping it was the HDMI cable. But for me, the worst case scenario was it being the display in the HDMI port specifically, because that lets me know that I can change cables all day, I can change what's plugged into that port, but I'm likely to encounter that same issue, which means that more than likely something needs to be repaired from a hardware perspective. And that's really disappointing considering the Gallery series being the flagship of the LG OLED lineup. That just goes to show you that you can't spend your way out of certain types of quality on displays. You know, if you ever thought, you know, oh, I'm looking at this B series, but I'm gonna go ahead and stretch my budget and get the Gallery series that I don't encounter any problems. And he's just throwing jump balls out here, Florida. If you think you're gonna spend your way out of certain quality control issues or problems, think again. And I speak from experience. I've had multiple C-series LG OLEDs now. They've all had their own set of problems along the way, some more minor than others. And, you know, none of them have pushed me to the point where I felt like I needed to get an entire new display or even have a repair technician come out and do some sort of warranty claim. You know, I've just lived with it because I just didn't want to deal with the hassle, okay? But this HDMI problem is a bigger issue to me because what that does is it essentially takes away one of the HDMI ports as a viable option, meaning now I kind of look at this display as, instead of having 4 HDMI 2.1 ports capable of 4K at 120 Hertz, I really only have 3. And by the way, one of those is tied up with my AV receiver for ARC functionality. So really now you're down to 2. But there's another element to this story that I haven't really discussed on the channel, and that I'm fairly certain I have problems with more than one HDMI port on this display. So let me go ahead and pull up the HDMI inputs at the bottom. And you can see here what's connected. You know, PS5 Pro is now on HDMI 4. There's my Sony receiver on 2 for the ARC port. And on HDMI 1, I have an Apple TV 4K. And what I've been running into here, maybe for the last month or so, is I'm getting insane amounts of audio dropouts. Now, I'm not yet ready to conclude that it's definitely another faulty HDMI port, because I have not gone through the troubleshooting of swapping cables, different brands of cables, at least going that route to start. I haven't moved this Apple TV 4K over to another HDMI input, which in this case would be back to the bad HDMI input that I had with the PS5 Pro. Let me pull this back up. So for those of you that didn't watch the previous videos, the problem HDMI port for my PS5 Pro was HDMI 3, which you see is conveniently missing here because nothing's plugged into it. So for the audio dropouts and the issues I'm having with the Apple TV 4K, first thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and move it to HDMI 3 and just see if I encounter any problems at all, right? Because I don't anticipate resolution problems for the Apple TV 4K, but if the audio dropouts continue, then I can kind of go back and say, okay, it's either the Apple TV 4K, the HDMI cable, or maybe the streaming app, the content app I'm using, whether it be YouTube or whatever. I will say this, and I know I'm kind of all over the place. This is not scripted, obviously. I'm just here talking with, you know, some NCAA football playing in the background. One thing I will say is that the consistent audio dropouts are happening on YouTube. So I'm hopeful that maybe it's specific to YouTube and some update in the background is causing some disconnects there audio-wise. I'm not sure, but I'd rather it be app first because hopefully a patch can come in, like a stealth patch, and fix it. Then HDMI cable. I don't mind swapping another cable in. Then Apple TV 4K, you know, it's like, okay, a new Apple TV 4K is likely to drop sometime in 2025 from what I understand. So, you know, I'm going to be picking one of those up either way. So that's, you know, but then the last thing I want this to be is to be another faulty HDMI port, because at that point now I have two. And that will probably force me to have to do some sort of warranty claim, or at least consider some other options, because I can't in good conscience make this sort of investment on a high-end upper tier display that, by the way, picture quality wise, if you're looking at this, it won't translate on camera, but picture quality wise for gaming, this is the best display I've ever owned for gaming. I mean, it is absolutely beautiful. And by the way, I haven't dropped a gaming HDR settings video yet for this display. That's going to be coming real soon. So if you're still watching the video, I appreciate it. Be sure to subscribe and turn on that bell so you see that video drop, because I've done my settings on this display very differently than my prior OLED displays. So I'm really loving the picture quality on this display. I'm not loving these issues I've been having, like the audio dropouts on HDMI 1 with the Apple TV 4K, and for sure, the forcing of the resolution down from 4K to whatever, you know, because I don't know what's going on there. But so to get back on the primary topic, sorry about that, is I wanted to let you know, as I clicked the wrong button, I clicked the HDMI inputs, I just want to let you know that since I moved my PS5 Pro to the HDMI 4 instead of HDMI 3, exact same cable, I have had zero problems. And this is why I know it's not cable, it's not the PS5 Pro, it's that HDMI port, unfortunately. But hey, at least I had a solution that I could just move it to a different HDMI port and have a really, really good gaming experience. At least I was able to do that without having to do manufacturer, you know, exchanges and warranty claims. At least I could do this. But the principle of this is I really should file the claim and try and get a new display. And here's the other part of that. Is there a chance that LG might send a technician out, see the same problems I'm having, and actually determine I need an entire new display? Is there a chance they may send me a G5 in its place? That actually could work out to my benefit, because, hey, if you want to send me a G5 in its place because the life cycle of the G4 is pretty much past as far as being the newest display on the market. I mean, I'm pretty sure the pre-orders for the G5 just went up on LG's website, like literally in the last few days from the time of filming this video. So the life cycle for the G4 being the newest LG gallery series on the market is very short-lived now. So maybe they send me a G5 instead. then at that point it would be worth the hassle of getting it down off the wall. And I actually kept the original box in case I needed to do any sort of warranty returns or anything like that. So I actually still have the box, which that's a big ass box, taking a lot of space, by the way, that I've had for some months now. But I just wanted to jump on here. I haven't really talked to you guys in a while, and I really hadn't talked to you guys for sure about this problem with my G4, with the resolution problem. I just wanted to update you guys and let you know that, in my opinion, it's completely fixed simply by moving to a different HDMI import. And at the same time, that's really sad. But hey, like I mentioned earlier, I have more content coming with this G4, at least while I still have it. The settings videos are coming. I'm gonna have an SDR gaming settings video, HDR gaming settings video. I'm gonna have some settings videos for streaming content like the Apple TV 4K. So if you're somebody who maybe just picked up a G4 because it's marked down and you don't care about the G5 and all that, be sure to subscribe, turn on the bell, and hit the like button on this video. That lets me know that you want to see more content like that. But hey, with all that being said, until the next one.